Between 1865 and 1900, the American Old West was home to legendary stories unlike any other. Lawmen, outlaws, and cowboys shared the scene with fearless women who faced daily dangers and often tested the boundaries of morality. In this list, you'll meet 10 of these remarkable women who left their mark on the era by breaking rules, standing up for themselves, and earning respect in a chaotic world. Number 1. Pearl Hart. Pearl Hart was born in Lindsay, Canada in 1871 and attended an exclusive school. She preferred adventure to books, and at 17 she ran away to Chicago with Frederick Hart, a gambler who soon turned abusive. Fed up with the situation, she left him when she was 22 and headed for Arizona, where she met Joe Boot, a struggling miner. Needing cash, the couple turned to robbery. Hart would lure men to her room, and Boot would step in at the right moment to surprise them and steal their belongings. This scheme nearly got them into serious trouble several times, but they kept going as long as they could. In 1899, Hart came up with an even bolder plan, robbing a stagecoach, thinking it would be a way to make more money with less risk. Pearl Hart decided to cut her hair and wear men's clothing to pull off a robbery that, until then, seemed impossible for someone of her gender. Together with her partner, Boot, she stopped a stagecoach and managed to hold the driver at gunpoint. While Boot kept everyone in check, Pearl collected more than $400 from the passengers. Surprisingly, she returned part of the money so the victims could still manage until they reached their destination. Though this gesture didn't stop the escape from ending badly. They rode into the desert but soon got lost. After wandering for days, exhaustion took over, and the rest they desperately needed became the perfect opportunity for the sheriff and his posse. They were captured just a few miles from the crime scene, with no chance to outrun the law. During her trial, Pearl Hart famously declared, "I shall not consent to be tried under a law in which my sex had no voice in making." Despite her bold words, the judge wasn't impressed, and the conviction stood. Still, she became the second woman to rob a stagecoach, and the first to survive the attempt, which made her a celebrity in Arizona. Reporters from all over lined up to interview her and photograph her holding her gun. After serving 18 months, she was pardoned, officially due to the lack of proper facilities for women. However, rumors suggested another reason behind the authorities' decision. For a brief period, Pearl joined Buffalo Bill's famous Wild West show, drawing plenty of curious spectators. Over time, though, she chose a quieter life, spending her remaining years away from the spotlight, leaving behind a story that still intrigues anyone who digs into the details of her life in the Old West. Number 2. Laura Bullion. Laura Bullion's life began surrounded by crime. Her father was a bank robber, and she herself got pulled into a life of lawlessness at an early age. During her teens, she worked as a prostitute and soon joined the infamous Wild Bunch gang, where she earned the nickname Rose of the Wild Bunch. Her role wasn't limited to dealing in stolen goods. She also had connections that kept the gang supplied with horses. Throughout her time with the Wild Bunch, Bullion dated several gang members and sometimes even dressed up as a man to take part in train robberies. In 1901, she was arrested carrying $8,500 in stolen banknotes. After getting out of prison, she decided to leave crime behind and settled in Memphis, Tennessee, where she worked as an interior designer. Bullion died in 1961 from heart problems. Her headstone features a rose carved among thorny vines and is engraved with the thorny rose, symbolizing who she was and the path she walked. Considered the last surviving member of the Wild Bunch, Laura Bullion's passing closed an unforgettable chapter of Old West history. Number 3. Madame Vestal. Belle Siddons grew up on a prosperous plantation in the South. When the Civil War broke out, she saw a chance to put her talents to work and became a Confederate spy at the age of 25. She was eventually captured and imprisoned, but received a pardon after 4 months. This twist of fate led her down a new path. After leaving prison, she married a gambler who taught her the secrets of card games. Her skills stood out, and soon she became well known as a blackjack dealer. Life took another turn when her husband died. Looking for new opportunities, she followed the gold rush and settled in South Dakota, where she opened a dance hall, bar, and gambling house. It was there that she adopted the name Madame Vestal and met Archie McLaughlin, a stagecoach robber she fell in love with. Their bond grew stronger as Belle once again put her skills to use, getting information from stagecoach drivers and passing it to her lover. However, one careless moment ruined everything. One night, she accidentally revealed details about an upcoming robbery. McLaughlin was arrested, convicted, and hanged, leaving Belle on a path of despair. Turning to alcohol and losing direction, she eventually died alone in jail, ending a life marked by twists, turns, and risky choices. Number 4. Rose Dunn. Born in Oklahoma in 1879, stepped into the world of crime when she got involved with George Newcomb, a member of the infamous Bullion gang. While the gang was constantly clashing with the law, Rose played a crucial role, supplying ammunition and provisions whenever the outlaws couldn't safely appear in public. In one critical moment, she risked her own life to rescue Newcomb after he had been shot by federal agents. Calmly and courageously, she rushed into gunfire and held off the officers with her rifle, buying him enough time to escape. Things took a turn when Rose's brothers, who worked as bounty hunters, decided to turn Newcomb over to the authorities. After that incident, she left her outlaw life behind, started mingling in more respectable circles, married a politician, and permanently closed the darkest chapter of her story. Number 5. Sally Skull. Sarah Jane Newman was born in 1817, ready to face any challenge life threw at her. She grew up in a pioneer family near Austin, where conflicts were part of everyday life. From a young age, she watched her mother, Rachel Newman, fiercely defend their land against attacks. On one occasion, Rachel even chopped off the fingers of a Comanche warrior who tried to force his way into their home. That kind of fierce defense deeply shaped Sally's personality. She began dressing like a man, carrying guns and dealing with horses without caring what anyone thought. Twice a year, she would head down to Mexico on solo trips and return with horses that, according to rumors, had been obtained through shady deals, though nothing was ever proven. Her bold actions and unconventional lifestyle fascinated some and frightened others. There were even stories that, of her 5 husbands, at least 2 had been killed by her own hand, although those tales were never confirmed. Even today, her name lives on as a symbol of boldness and defiance of the era's conventions. Number 6. Big Nose Kate. Mary Catherine Harrony started life comfortably in a wealthy family, but everything changed dramatically when she lost her parents at 14. Placed under guardianship, she refused to accept the life chosen for her and ran away to marry a dentist. But this new chapter didn't last long. Soon she became a widow and headed for Texas, where she found work as a saloon dancer and supported herself through prostitution. It was there that she met Doc Holliday, who became her traveling companion and partner in adventure. With Holliday, Kate journeyed across the country, experiencing memorable moments along the way. Her most notorious act came when she set fire to a building to help Holliday escape from jail, proving just how determined she was to stick by his side no matter what. That fearless act secured her a place in Old West history and made her a legendary figure. Number 7. Belle Starr. Belle Starr was born in 1848 to a wealthy family in Missouri, with a future that seemed set: marry well and live a calm, predictable life. Instead, she traded her routine at an all-girls school for shooting lessons with her older brother Bud, showing early on that she had a taste for adventure. Things took a turn in 1864 when her family moved to Texas. There, Belle met members of Jesse James's famous James Younger gang. In 1866, she married Jim Reed, a horse thief who, in 1869, killed a man accused of murdering his brother. Shortly after, the couple fled to California, but their life together didn't last long. Jim was shot dead in 1874. Widowed, Belle became involved with the Starr clan and married Samuel Starr, fully embracing a life of crime. She became the brains behind robberies and other illegal activities, repeatedly evading the law due to lack of evidence. Even though she was arrested a few times, she always regained her freedom and continued on her path. In 1889, Belle was shot in the back while returning home from the store. To this day, no one knows for sure who pulled the trigger. Her story remains shrouded in mystery, but her reputation lives on as one of the greatest legends of the Old West. Number 8. Etta Place. Etta Place became famous alongside Butch Cassidy, and later as the wife of Harry Longabaugh, the legendary Sundance Kid. Her connection with the Wild Bunch gang was so strong that she even took part in some of their boldest robberies and traveled with them to Argentina. Despite this involvement, almost nothing is known about her background or what happened to her after Longabaugh's death. Researchers still piece together clues trying to uncover her true identity, but most records remain incomplete or contradictory. Some believe she might actually have been Ann Bassett, one of the famous cattle-rustling sisters, because both women had ties to the Wild Bunch and shared similar physical features. To this day, the mystery surrounding Etta Place fascinates anyone digging into the hidden stories of the Old West, keeping her alive in legends passed down through generations. Number 9. Eleanor Dumont. Eleanor Dumont, probably from New Orleans around 1829, first made her name in Nevada City, where she opened a gambling house that quickly became popular. Men from all over were drawn by Dumont's confident style as she ruled the tables with charm and skill. Amid her success, she met Jack McKnight, a con man who tricked her, sold her ranch, and ran off with the money. Furious, she tracked him down and settled the score with a bullet, then returned to the lifestyle she knew best. Over time, Dumont was no longer the woman who had charmed so many gamblers. She gained weight, and a thick strip of hair grew above her upper lip, earning her the nickname Madame Mustache. Her luck at the tables also turned sour. In 1878, she lost $300 she'd borrowed in a single night. The next morning, she was found dead. This marked the end of a woman who lived her life intensely, navigating the cards, risks, and uncertainties of the Old West. Number 10. Bonnie Parker. She was born in 1910 in Rowena, Texas, and quickly stood out for her intelligence and dreams of performing on stage. At 19, she crossed paths with Clyde Barrow, a 20-year-old ex-convict who embodied the thrill of life outside the law. They hit it off immediately, and Bonnie joined Clyde's gang, abandoning any hopes of an artistic career to dive headfirst into robberies and high-speed getaways. For 2 years, the couple traveled through 5 states, committing crimes that resulted in the deaths of 13 civilians. Their notoriety grew rapidly, fueled by newspapers that reported each crime with a mix of fear and fascination. The end for Bonnie and Clyde came in 1934, during an ambush organized by Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, bringing their criminal run to a dramatic close. During a brief period in jail, Bonnie wrote a poem predicting her own fate alongside Clyde. The verses went, "Someday they'll go down together and they'll bury them side by side. To few it'll be grief, to the law a relief, but it's death for Bonnie and Clyde."